All right. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Ink Episode 2, starring Ink Yami's Bryan. How you doing tonight, Bryan?
Hi. I'm pretty good. Just a bit fatigued from the stream earlier, but I took a shower and I cleaned up, put on a new shirt. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that a little later. But first off, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like hobbies,
Mm.
interests, what it was like for you growing up, besides just Splatoon.
Well, when it comes to hobbies, other hobbies that I have, well, I don't really have much other than Splatoon, but I do on from time to time. I like running, and so I
Hmm.
can't really run that often because sometimes my shins like it all whacked out. But
Right.
I used to run cross country back in high school, and I did track too, and that was pretty cool. And for really other interests, one of my interests of a lot of people know me by is like chickens, like the animal. Like I really love the animal, and it's ever since started like I think it was like fifth or fourth grade is when I started like um owning that animal. I guess like saying, oh yo, this animal's really cool. I'm gonna draw it all the time and say like, yo, this animal's really cool to everyone. And yeah, so a lot of
Okay.
my yeah. And so when it comes to like you said early life, correct?
Yeah, like what it was like for you growing up and all that.
Well, I'm gonna spare a lot of the details, but it was pretty not typical. It wasn't like the best kind of conditions to grow up. Lots of stuff happened, and like some bad and some good. Mostly stuff that people will say is bad, but I got through it. I moved out, so I'm cool now. But yeah, back then it was pretty hard. It was not the most formidable kind of living situation to be in. But
Would you say something like that's probably made you a stronger person, or how do you think living a life
well,
like that would change you?
I think a lot of it when I grew up, I'm thinking, you know how you learn from people when you grow up, you see role models and stuff like that. Well, when I grew up, there's a lot of people that would not be the most typical role model. Like probably you would tell people to avoid them if like, and I was around a lot of those people when I grew up. And so what I did was to like kind of like give myself this own mental fortitude that I have like right now. I
Hmm.
taught myself to, I guess, not be the people that I've interacted with that I know are bad. So like not be those random guys in the alleys and stuff like that. It's like I don't know. That's an example, but I taught myself like just aspire to be not them, and from there I learned how to. I basically did the opposite of what like I observed either both at home or like somewhere in school and stuff like that. So that's how I
Okay, so
developed something like that.
basically you observed what other people did and you were kind of like, I don't want to be that way, so learn from their mistakes, so to speak.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay. Then I'm guessing at some point in your early childhood, you got into this thing we call video games. So, what can
Yeah,
you tell us about that?
definitely I got into really, really early. So like when I think one of the first consoles that I've ever owned was a GameCube. That was like back when it came out, and that was like lit. Like it was lit. It was lit ass, dude. And so my brother and I used to play it all the time. Our first game is my brother got Pokemon Coliseum for his birthday, and we had Super Mario Sunshine. Super Mario Sunshine was probably like one of the best games I ever played back then. I never saw graphics like it because like GameCube was so much different than what I saw from like the N64 and stuff like that. So I was
Hmm.
like, what the? This is like so cool, dude. And yeah, so like I grew up liking Mario and I grew up liking Pokemon, and then eventually when I kind of crawled my way up to like let's say around 6 years old, I got a Game Boy, and I'm like, whoa, this is so cool, dude. And I've stumbled upon a DS, and a lot of the majority of the games I played were um, Pokemon games, and I played
Okay.
a variety of Mario games like here and there, but one of the I only like games like Super Mario Sunshine, so and they didn't really appeal to me that much. So I stuck with Pokemon a lot, and one of the other games that I got, which is like not really known to a lot of people, but I was pretty edgy back then, so I played this game called The World Ends with You, and that game is really good. It's by Square Enix. I played it pretty early, and I don't know, it really spoke to me when I was younger. So it's one of the
Okay.
main games I remember. So yeah.
Did you and your brother bond over video games by chance? Since you mentioned one of the first games he got was Pokemon Coliseum.
Not exactly, because I wasn't. We were first playing it, when he got it on his birthday, I was in kindergarten, and he was 2 years above me. So I got home really early, so I played it. By the
Nice.
time he got home, he took over, and then I just kind of chilled and did whatever, you know. So it
Okay.
wasn't. It was mostly single player games that I played. A kind of game that we both played was The Borderlands with You. Is that because it's like
Right.
kind of like a co-op game? So yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
What about more recent video games that aren't named Splatoon?
More recent ones. Let's see. Well, when I got into high school, again, like I was into Pokemon like a lot. Like I even kind of stepped foot in the competitive scene. I played on Pokemon Showdown quite a lot. My brother and I played that together sometimes. So there's a lot of salt, but I wasn't the best, and neither was he. But it was still fun to do. But yeah, Pokemon was definitely like one of the bigger ones that I've played, and I guess Fire Emblem too is the ones that I've played recently. I've been playing more. I played more of the older games that I played
Hmm.
before when I was younger, like I think 2 years ago again, like Sacred Stones and Fire Emblem 7. So yeah.
Okay. Was the Pokemon community kind of your first taste of competitive video games?
Yeah, actually. Eventually there was this there was this whole community that I didn't really delve into because I was like, yo, I'm not messing with that dude. But I eventually got to know some people in the community, and I was on Reddit, by the way. This was me on Reddit. I was my username was alpackages37, of course, which is my Twitch username. And
Okay.
basically, me and a couple buddies that I met online, once there's this thing that you could like inject Pokemon that from your computer into your game, and like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So what I did with those people, I'm like, you know what? For people that can't generate Pokemon like that, I'm gonna make a subreddit to give it to them. So then I made the subreddit called /r/Pokemon for all. It's dead now because I left for Splatoon, but it's basically where I spent a majority of my high school, sophomore and early junior. No, just sophomore year. Then as and from there, I just kind of I was a 16-year-old loser kind of guy going on this Reddit thing and giving away Pokemon to these people because I'm like, you know what, might as well. And a lot of people knew me as like the kind of the guys who just like gave away so many Pokemon and like stayed up late and stuff like that. And then I stopped eventually because of Splatoon. Like it was either to choose that or Splatoon, so I left the moderation team of the Reddit and I went to Splatoon from there. But that was like my
Okay.
whole big thing before Splatoon.
Okay. And I guess that's a nice segue into my next question. How'd you get into Splatoon? Because as of a few days from when this goes live, Splatoon will be celebrating its second birthday.
Yeah, how I got into Splatoon is pretty anticlimactic, honestly. My brother and I were just chilling one day, and then I was like, "Yo, I have some cash on me from work. Do you want to look in the eShop, see what games are there?" And so this happened to be the day that Splatoon actually came out on the eShop. So
Hmm.
I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, yeah, let's check it out." So like, I heard a lot of this game like named Splatoon. You want to get it? I'm like, "Sure, yeah, that's fine." So I played it. I was like hooked. I was instantly hooked. And once we got that game, I didn't stop playing for like a whole 24 hours. Like I was going like I think like within like the first week, I eventually got to level 20 because I just loved the game so much. Then yeah, and it's only because my brother was like really bored one day and just like, yo, I want to buy a new game, and we bought it. And because we were bored of Smash, we got Smash a while back. That's why we bought the Wii U because of Smash. And yeah, I don't know. It wasn't that comedic, but ever since then, like my journey to the competitive scene, like that's basically what started me like eventually spreading out, like it's moving from Pokemon over to Squid Boards, which is like the early days of
Right.
like. I remember those days. And from there, like my brother actually mentioned it because my brother browsed Smash boards. He was like, "Yo, dude, there's a thing called Squid boards for Splatoon. Thought you'd like it." I'm like, "Oh, neat, dude." So then I surfed it, and I saw that there's teams. I was like, "Whoa!" And from, I was like, I wanted to be on a team, but I didn't think I was like good enough yet. So
Hmm.
I got to eventually I got to like A plus from then. This is like well after the game came out. Like you know when rank took like 2 weeks or two, I don't know how many weeks till it came out. Yeah, I got to A plus, and then I like, yo, someone hire me, please. And so I actually, what's really funny is there's this team called Ingolphus Underground. I think you know it, Jordan.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I know them.
and before actually, to get into the squad, you needed to create a story, like an OC original character.
A story.
Hmm. So I really wanted to get on a team, and I was like, yo, I don't. Okay, I have to create a story for this. I don't really care. I like writing, so I guess I'll do it. So you can actually find it still. It's still in the IU sign up tryouts thingy, and it's like, create your own background. And it's like, all right, my name's Alpaca because I went by Alpaca at that time. By that time,
Hmm.
actually, I went by Augustine for the longest time. That's my brother's name because I didn't change it, and so but then eventually changed it to Alpaca. So I was like, I'm Alpaca, and I'm here to free my my pet alpaca called Packy from the Octarians. And so there's a whole story about like it's still there too. It's honestly really embarrassing, but I got on the team because of that. Yeah, and that's just
I
started the
mean,
whole fluid career.
I'd say it's I'd say it's probably a better story than single player is.
Yeah, I'd say so. A lot interesting with animals, I guess. But yeah,
So
those.
I have to ask. Go
Mhm.
ahead.
No, you good, dude. I
Okay. I have to ask, how exactly did you come up with the name Alpaca Jesus 837?
Oh my god. Okay, funny story. Actually, when I was younger, I used to go by fried chicken 837. Oh, surprise, surprise. But yeah, I was, but then I was stupid and I was like, oh, I'm gonna use this email for everything. And so I went to like random sites and like said like, oh, win like $10,000. Just type in your email. I'm like, dude, that's like easy money. So I did that, and eventually, because I kept doing that, like I was really stupid back then, I got hacked. My email got hacked, and so
Oh
I couldn't
boy.
use it. Yeah, I couldn't use it anymore. So I'm just like, oh crap, dude, what do I even do now? So then on the spot, I had to create my own another alias kind of thing. So me being the 12-year-old that I was, I'm just like, you know what sounds cool? I like alpacas, and I'm gonna be like some like messiah of alpacas or some crap. And so there I was, alpaca Jesus 837, and yeah. I don't know why I did that, but eventually I created that and it just became my name for almost everything. And the 837 doesn't mean anything. That's just a combination of letters that I just came up with for no reason. It's like, oh, that looks really cool. It looks pretty edgy, dude. And yeah, so eventually because of that, I named my Twitch that, unfortunately. And now I'm here.
12-year-olds and their edginess, am I right?
Yeah, I was pretty damn edgy back then.
Okay. So connecting like your Pokemon background with the early days of Splatoon, would you say that's why you decided to get into competitive?
Um, Well, for one reason why I wanted to get competitive because with Pokemon, I didn't really see like the team aspect other than your obvious Pokemon team that you create. But there's no
Hmm.
like person to person interaction other than your opponent.
Right.
So, and community awakening with your opponent was terrible. There's a lot of trolls on Pokemon Showdown, to be honest, and that wasn't really like appealing to me. So, but when I went to Splatoon, there was like I see teams and I saw like some like early streams of just people just talking and like and playing with one another. I'm just like, holy crap, that's really cool. Actually, I want to have my own team to do that. I want to interact with some more people. So I'm like, I'm gonna look for the squad with the biggest amount of people. I saw S&D and their tryouts were locked. So I'm just like, all right, next one. And so I saw Encompass Underground. I'm just like, all right, yeah, I'll go for this one. and because I just wanted to interact with like a lot more people. And to be honest, the me from back then, oh god, like I use like colon D, colon capital D like every sentence, dude. I was just like such a happy-go-lucky dude, and
Oh
now
boy.
and now I'm just like some like meme or troll guy who just types in chat like random quips or whatever. But yeah, definitely like the interaction between like people and interaction between like teams like that. That's what drew me into the competitive scene for Splatoon. Honestly, it's pretty cool.
Okay. And to think we could have been teammates had you been able to sign up for S&D.
I could have met Daddy Rocket in real life. Well, over
Mm.
Skype.
Back in a Skype group of 55 people. I'm sure that sounds really appealing.
Sounds fun, yeah.
So anyway, tell us a little bit about your experiences with IU, since that was your first
IU.
real team.
IU, although it was my first, it was pretty short. I think it was about 2.5 months is pretty long, honestly. But I was there for about 2.5 months, and I I love the people on it. There's one of the like I love the people on it, like really cool people. Eventually, we were chilling. We entered this one tourney. It was Sink or Sink, and you remember that, right? I
Yes, I
think.
played in it.
No, damn. We were there and we're like, oh my god, this looks so cool. And so we played in it. It was me. It was this guy named Ending. This girl named Selena. This guy named Delta. And who's the last? And this girl named Lauren. Um, I think Lauren's on High Tide Era now. Delta is just chilling until Splatoon 2. Ending's gone. He's playing Overwatch, and Selena's on Panda Pop. And
Okay.
but that team was called with like kind of like a little joke thing. It's called because we went against I think C minus. I'm not sure. And the first thing they say to when we lost to them, I think we lost to C minus. I think we might have beaten them. Whatever. Something happened on C minus, and then they said like, "Wow, your team is very skill." Like the grammar was just terrible, and they said your team is very skill instead of like very skilled or whatever. And so for the longest time, we're like, "Oh my god, this should be like our new team name, like little sub team name, Team Very Skill." And like from there, we were like so hyped playing with it because I think we got like ninth in that tournament. We were happy with our performance, and we were team in Galbus Underground B. We're the second team of like the first team. I think, yeah. And so what happened was after that, I think, yeah, it got split into time zones, like the teams. So there's me being PSG, and then there's Lauren being PSG. There's Ending and Delta being ESG, and there's Selena in Europe. So we got like split up, like Team Very Skill, whatever.
Right.
And so that kind of just like kind of brought down the damper in the mood. And from there, I was like seeing like my own potential as like a better player. I stopped playing Aerospray. I moved on to Chargers actually. So, and mind you, I was an A plus 99 Aerospray before the update came out. So don't mess with my Aerospray, to be honest.
Wow.
But yeah, yeah, and then I moved on to Chargers, and from there, actually, we eventually left the team, which was kind of ironic because before we left the team, I said, you know what, I'm never gonna leave this team, and then the next day or like the next 2 days, I'm outie, and because Soropoise, you know him, he offered to make a team with, I think it was Static, Dogface, him, Selena, and I. And so it's called Fantastic Melody. It was legit like a 2-week squad. And that was like my first dip into competitive, like the first dip. But IU was like the starting point. Like IU, I have a lot to thank for. And although I did leave early on, I do remember we were under the leadership of KT or KBot, who now I do thank him for that. Although it was pretty whack near the end, but I really enjoyed the squad. I do. So yeah.
Okay. How do you think like your time on IU, even though comparatively speaking it was short, helped shape you as a player and as a person?
Well, that actually introduced me to like my first team VC. Like I didn't know callouts. I was the guy who put like over there on the thingy and stuff like that. I was that guy, and I wanted to know them a lot more. So eventually, we kind of I looked over them myself and I shared them with some people. But eventually, as I kept seeing with the people that I knew, I got more comfortable talking. And
Hmm.
although I'm not as comfortable. I wasn't as comfortable, like not nearly as comfortable as I am in Yami, because back then I was pretty meek and shy, and definitely not the louder one. uh, I'm not the one shouting out "nut" or anything like that. I was the guy like I was just the guy just chilling with it. Like I was just chilling with the boys and stuff like that. And I eventually, from that team, I got my own voice, and I got my like. I started to be more realistic, kind of like, uh, we have to like do this comp. We have to uh, move our mentality from like being like, because IU was kind of a casual squad, casual
Right.
competitive kind of thing. So I was straying from like that casual side, just making like a veer left turn to the competitive, and just because like the stuff I saw in the tourney was just really cool, and like the scrims I see, it's like I want it. I want to do that. So definitely, IU gave me that ambition to be kind of the player that I am today, or like the kind of player that I aspired to be back then. And yeah, that's what I have to thank IU for, to introduce me to a lot of cool people that I don't exactly interact with now, but I am glad that I interacted with them before because they're really neat.
So you'd say that IU has kind of brought out like a competitive side to you that may not have been there before, or
Yeah, yeah, because like when I look back when I played when I played Pokemon, I wasn't like I wasn't like going all in for the wins. I wasn't going on the ladder and trying to get the highest rank. I was just playing to play and have fun. And eventually, when I moved to Splatoon, I'm like, winning is fun. Attorneys are fun. Kind of casual turf war, like casual squads. Compared to that stuff, it's not as fun. It's still fun. Turf, not so much anymore for me, but squads compared to like scrims and tourneys, there's like a
Mhm.
pretty big margin between them, and I like doing that stuff. And I like doing more competitive kind of squads with better people, like against better people. I mean, so like I wanted to, I guess, just have more fun. So, and I realized the competitive scene is the source of that, so I moved over there.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then you moved on to other teams like Technical Difficulties, Reverse Rebirth,
Hmm.
and the one you're currently on, Yami, sponsored by In Control Gaming. How would you say
Yeah,
those teams compare to like Inkopolis Underground?
compared Yami to it.
Well, just those teams in general, like TD, Reverse Rebirth, Yami, any other
I
teams
see.
that you've been on, like Unknown and whatnot.
All right. So I'm gonna list off the teams I've been on. It's quite a lot. I'm just gonna list them, but and I would just kind of go in a little depth for them. So there was Squatastic Melody, which I kind of mentioned briefly. It's not that big of a squad, so I'm probably not gonna go into it. Squatastic Melody, Technical Difficulties. After that, I made a team, but I don't. It didn't last long at all. So it was called Empire. It didn't I? It was really short lived. And then I moved back to Technical Difficulties. So I'm just gonna merge all those together. And after that, I joined New Perspective for a little bit, like a really short time, because I actually at the time I quit competitive Splatoon because I just kind of was like, you know what, I'm pretty burnt out, and you know how long those last, like maybe like a week. And so, and then I made a team with this guy named the Best for called Dyna Dinos, and from that is where I met Silver, like on a more personal level, and then went to create Reverse Rebirth with Silver. Your waifu and me, and then from there move to Yami. Oh, and Unknown. Unknown's like the little small margin between them, but it disbanded, unfortunately. So yeah, and technical difficulties actually was one of my most interesting times, mostly because there's very interesting people in it. Um, I met a lot of cool people there. I I can't say that I didn't enjoy my time there. It was really uh, there's group VCs and stuff like that that I enjoyed being in. Like every day I would want to join. We VC like almost every day, and that was like awesome for me. Like I'm like whoa, I've never done this before. Like in Campus Underground, maybe it was like once or twice a week, and then when I joined TD, I'm just like, yo, this is like every day. I come home from school, I log on to Discord, and like I see the people in the VC or on Skype. It was mostly Skype when I was there for the first half, and then we just played for like the longest for like Splatoon for like the longest time. And then the second half, after the team I made, it was even more like intense. It was like we got into a division of Ludi, which is arguably probably the worst. Ludi season 1 was the most like degrading probably thing ever. Like we used quick respawn and stealth jump. I don't think you remember. I don't know if you remember that, but we used it. And
Oh, I remember it. I think it was you guys that actually used it in a scrim against S&D that became
Salt jump.
the basis. That became the basis of Rocket's stealth jump video or salt jump.
Yeah, and yeah, salt jump. That was a meme in TD actually. We used that video a lot, and like that was really funny. But we used that during Luda season 1, and the backlash was insane. It was so crazy. And then it's kind of funny because I used that back then, and then you see it now. Everyone uses it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still annoying, but like I'm thinking in my mind, like, dude, I was the meta before it was the meta. Like
You
I
guys,
was meta.
you guys were the pioneers that brought us something we weren't ready for back then. So
Yeah, it was pretty slept on after Ludi. Everyone's like trashing on it and like, oh, don't do it. But then eventually came back during, I think, Inkstorm is when it happened again. And it was like, what the? And we actually saw it in a Japanese squad that we beat, by the way. And we're like, dude, they just kept jumping the tower. And then so we went in a tri-squad and we just won every single tower control game because of stealth jump quick respawn. Just as a tri-squad, because no one knew how to deal with it in squads. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was just 2
not
minutes
broken
Q
at all.
Yeah, definitely not. No one watched the jumps back then. But yeah, and then from there, and then after that whole incident, Ludi season 1, sorry. And after that, I kind of made it my thing to not use quick respawn or stealth jump because of what happened then, because everyone got trash talk on TD because of it. It was pretty degrading, but eventually we got our shit back together, and obviously because it's now the meta, it's a lot easier to use. But yeah, I made it kind of my thing. Like I don't want to use quick respawn or stealth stuff anymore because of that, and we were so reluctant to use it in tourneys. So after I left TD, I joined New Perspective for quite a long time with Delta, Kiri, Vera, and Jebs, and I was there for a really, really short time. But I really enjoyed my time there because I knew Delta and I knew Vera, and I was really close with them. I know Delta and Kiri are in a relationship together, and I remember seeing that first start up when I was back then when I was still in TD, I think. Yeah, and it was really cool to see it, like just all my old friends. But then I left again to just kind of like take a break from Splatoon, and then the guy technical difficulties disbands. And then, also technical difficulties. I met Red, who was honestly one of my closest friends, like right now.
Red Star.
She tried out, and I knew her actually from Bread and Butter. I'm pretty sure I stole her from Bread and Butter. I was like, I really liked Red. Red was so cool, and damn. And then from there, I met some other people. I met Chase, Froyo, and Arrow. Yeah. But yeah, Red was the one that stuck out to me. So after TD disbanded, after I left New Perspective, eventually I came back January of 2016, I think, around there, and Dinos was formed. This is like the meme team that no one ever thought would come. Honestly, like it was me, Flip, this guy named Diego who eventually left, your waifu, Brett, or the best, and I. And from there, it was like it was just like kind of like this whole mesh of people that we didn't expect to be there. And so it was. Oh, and also Selena or Sky was there. Sky was there too. I forgot. And that was just honestly pretty. It was pretty. I guess dysfunctional. Usually it was Brett and I staying up late and playing, and then kind of hoping for a quad. but I think we got Diego sometimes, but yeah. And then as it was gonna die, Silver joined. I reached out to Silver. I'm just like, yo, I saw that you left SRO, and want to join our team. And so, Bangers was on it too. Bangers again. It's like these people you wouldn't really expect. So yeah, I just said, Silver, yo, you want to join this team? And he was up for it. I didn't really know Silver that well at the time. I talked to him once about a situation before, but other than that, I didn't really interact with him. And so I kind of brought him on the team. I told one of the people named Bangers to keep up with the tryout after we did it, and they never talked again. So then Silver was like, yo, I thought we were going to try out. I was like, wait, he never messaged you or anything like that? And like, so he didn't follow up. So I'm like, dude, let's just try it right now. You can probably join the team after, because I saw you're doing really well. So he came on the team, and then a few weeks later, that was disbanded. And yeah, but then Reverse Rebirth was made, and that was Reverse Rebirth was the comfiest, second to Yami actually, was one of the comfiest squad I was been in Splatoon competitive scene as of then. But because we actually meshed well together. Silver said he knew a person named Polysaw, and they were an old blaster from CQC, and I know Cryptic knows them pretty well. And there was Tim, who was also from CQC, and Tim Pleb. I gotta give a shout out to that guy. He was a really cool dude, and I miss playing with him. And it always looks like I'm dodging his pickup squads, but I'm not. I'm busy. But yeah, then I met him, and that's where I met Tyler too. Dude, it was really cool. And then it was the 6 of us plus Curbs, who eventually we kicked off later because of just complications and stuff like that. But yeah, and that was really comfy for me. Like every night, Silver and I would watch Hell's Kitchen or something like that, and we'd like stay up really late, stuff like that. And like that's where I got to know Silver really well, definitely, and where I feel like kind of a friendship was created. And I don't know, a lot of people see Silver as this intimidating dude, but I love the guy. He's really cool. And once I got to like know him, I don't know, I can't really say anything bad about him because he's just neat. So from there, I eventually left Reverse Rebirth due to some personal reasons, stuff like that. So it died, unfortunately, which I was really sad about. And Silver and I, we met up. We were talking like, yo, let's just try this one more time. You try out for a team. Let's see if we can be on a team together. And then so I tried out for Unknown, but they didn't give him a tryout, so he went to Deep Blues. And the whole time I was on Unknown and he was on Deep Blues, I think he was on C- for a little bit. It was really an awkward time for like both of us. But Unknown was pretty cool. A lot of memers. That's where I met Johnny and Power and Sneaky and Mac. Like I knew pretty well. And definitely Mimi squad. I liked it a lot. We didn't VC that much though, but it was a really comfy place. But unfortunately it disbanded. And then that became Exclaim. But while Exclaim was made, Silver and I, we already had plans. We were like in the DM saying like, all right, if this doesn't work out, we're making our own team again. All right. And so I'm just like, all right, I'm down. I can do it. And so one day after this Unknown disbanded, we did a pickup squad tourney. It was Silver, Red, Johnny, and me. And we did pretty well. We didn't do that bad. I don't remember what place we got, but it was really fun playing with them. So that was going to be the 4 base people in Yami. It was going to be Johnny, Red, Silver, and I. But actually, at the time, Monado Boys was recreated. So Johnny was like, "All right, you know what? I really like Monado Boys, so I'm gonna head over to them." And we didn't really judge him. I think it's like that was his old team, and anyway, I liked hanging out with him. So we're like, "All right, that's cool. You can dip. It's neat." But so then we had Red, Silver, and I as the base. And you may not know this, but like before, I don't know who has a screenshot, but I took a screenshot at one point of the old Yami server icon. It was just like a picture of Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh. It was really like low tech kind of like tier, like what's it called? Really low tech tier server, and it was just general. That was it, just general. And so we're like, all right, we have need more people on the team. So let's host tryouts. And tryouts were released. Lots of people came in, so we're like, oh, we need to make a team chat. So we create team chat, and I think there was a tryout chat in general. So we eventually went through tryouts. We spotted Leo, Tyler, and Grim. Yeah, those three. And so we're like, all right, let's play more with these people, and I think we meshed pretty well with them. And believe it or not, we created all three of them. Well, Leo was the first time I met him. Honestly, I didn't expect like a 30-year-old dude to be like so chill, so memey and so weeby. Like, oh my god, Leo is a character. And so from there, we created. That's where Yami was like formed. We did our first tourney. We didn't actually place that well, honestly. We didn't do that good, but we still enjoyed playing with each other. I know I was really excited to have Red and Tyler on the team because I really wanted to be on a team with them for that long. And so yeah, that was our kind of whole thing for the longest time. We eventually kicked Grim due to more complications, and we only had 5 people, but we were still chilling. We were like, all right, this is still fine. But eventually, Exclaim wasn't really going well for Star and Zero, who are now in the team. And so they asked me, yo, is there any space on Yami? I'm like, well, what do you know? We're looking for some people to join the team because we don't have that much. So we're like, yeah, sure. Go ahead and join. We've seen your skill. We know what you can do. And now they've integrated to Yami. And then we picked up Tetsu, which is the last member, and Leo left to just kind of chill off Splatoon. So yeah, okay. we chilled with 7 people, and that was like, I'm sorry that took so long. That was like my whole kind of journey, like little kind of timeline of my whole competitive Splatoon career. And now I'm chilling with you on this voice call. So,
well, you must have done something right.
I'm glad I ended up on Yami though. It's honestly one of the most chillest places I've ever been. Just because we're really like connected through like a friendship, not really just like a bunch of players like meshed together. It's just really, really cool people, and I'm really comfortable playing with. Like I would join a VC with them, like without a doubt. Now, like before when I was back in IU and back in Dynasty, I was really like selective of who I wanted to like VC alone with. And right. But now it's just like any one of you, I definitely want to VC with you. So, because I'm just like so chill with them.
Yeah, and honestly, from what you've told me, both within this interview and outside of it, you've actually really changed and developed into probably a different person in the 2 years that you've been in Splatoon. From being like a shy and quiet introvert to someone who's not as afraid to speak their mind and more willing to just chill and go with the flow.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't one with leadership skills back then. I was pretty, I was an introvert kind of when I like, it took a lot of energy to be social with other people. Mm-hmm. But now, like, probably, let's say you caught me like 2 years ago and you tried to do this interview with me, I wouldn't do it. But now I'm pretty comfortable talking on like, I'm talking with you, like, right. Like I'm pretty comfortable doing that. And
I mean, we've met IRL, so that probably helps.
Yeah, it does help. And so because of like, I've developed some kind of like more, how do you say, more kind of a leader kind of skill. Like, because if I was fairly passive. I wasn't like ordering. I wasn't like organizing or anything like that. But now I feel like I organize like a lot of stuff in Yagi. I like ask like who wants to do a tournament, who wants to like hang out, and stuff like that. And, like everyone does their own part, and everyone does it pretty equally actually. So that's what it kind of and because of that, like I'm more comfortable like let's say like in squads, like giving orders or like trying to make calls and stuff like that, then I would be like I'm more of a louder voice in a VC than I would be before in Yami. Like especially like when everything's going good and like I'm getting excited, I start like getting really really into the game.
I've,
So yeah.
I've noticed.
Yeah. Yeah, if you watch the last like actually the last game of my stream, I was just like I was so in the zone, dude. But yeah.
Now, how about we talk about that stream?
Mm.
You wanna tell everyone what exactly that stream was for and why you were doing it?
Well, it was actually pretty funny because not funny. It was actually pretty interesting. Is what I'm gonna say. That I was in the Deep Blues chat and I was like seeing, I think Chaotic talking about him saying, "Oh, I'm going to S plus and trying to do it under 10 hours." And I was like, "Whoa, that's cool." And then Queen's like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna get a team drawing." And so I made a joke, a pretty bad joke about it that I'm not gonna say, but um, it was a Bryan caliber joke, obviously, but um, and and then they said like, "Oh, I'll draw anyone's team if they do another 10 minutes and like the fastest time." So I was
Mhm.
like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And so I really like Queen's art. Like Queen's art is like probably my favorite out of this whole community. I commission her like exclusively to pretty much. Um, and I was so I just picked it up that same day. I was like, I'm gonna try it. So I failed, unfortunately, the first time. I didn't make it. I was at like 9 hours and 30 minutes. I was like S60, and I was like, I wasn't gonna make it. But today I tried it again, and I actually did pretty well. I was 10 minutes off the world record, which was 8:46 and something seconds, and I got 8:56 and something seconds. So, but it was really tiring and really kind of rough because I was running on like 5 hours of sleep and a bag of chips. I still have the bag of chips right here, actually. This bag of Doritos saved my life, actually. So, and this bottle of water. That's all I had near my bed. I actually asked my brother to get some food and save me. But yeah, and eventually I got through that stuff, and it was really hype near the end because what Silver was telling me when I joined the VC right after is like you were like commentating every single thing you were doing, and I'm like, oh god, was I really? I wasn't even aware. Like I was just so in it, and
You were so in the zone that you just completely zoned out everything else.
yeah, and
It
then
was it was wild.
it was awesome, honestly, and it kind of paid off. It was probably the most fun I've ever had playing Splatoon in the longest time. And I also have to thank Queen for that. I really thank you, Queen, for giving me that opportunity to just have fun. If anyone beats my score, like kudos to them. Like holy crap, you did really good. But I'm just glad I was able to do it and just kind of had a good time doing it. Yeah, and it's also I got a lot of viewers on my stream there too, so I can't complain about that. It was pretty.
All right.
It was a great time. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So switching gears a little bit, you've been in this community basically as long as I have, and as long as the game has been released. About 2 years.
Yeah.
You've been on a lot of different teams. You've seen a lot of different things. What do you enjoy about this community?
What do I enjoy? Hmm. Well, this is it's not a bad thing, but like I enjoy just like small bits of it. This community mostly because I don't really interact with like more deeper parts of the community because
Mhm.
people I interact with usually like some deep blues people, a group of friends that I've known for a while. Interact with Claire a lot, if you know who she is,
Yeah.
and then people on Yami. Um, that's kind of my little bubble kind of place. I'm working on like honestly, obviously expanding it, and you're part of like the Yami group, by the way, Jordan. So, um,
Aw.
yeah, and so from there, um, I like kind of the closeness some people have. I sometimes I'm envious of it. Sometimes I'm like, yo, I think that could actually work out or something like that. And I like how people can like make that work. Like teams that's been together for like longer times, I really admire. Mostly because I would definitely want to be on a team that lasts like a long, long, long time, and then kind of like celebrate its, I guess, like 1 year anniversary or whatever. So now, unfortunately, Ink Delta actually disbanded today, which is kind of unfortunate to hear. But like teams like Creme Fraiche and stuff like that, those teams I admire a lot because they're just insane.
Okay. On the other side of that coin, what are some things you feel the community could do better in the future as we approach Splatoon 2?
Well, to do better, usually sometimes I go on Twitter a lot. I know it's probably going to be, and then I see like just like some stuff going on, and I don't know. I honestly have to find out because I'm kind of like I really am like curious, kind of too curious for my own good sometimes. But and a lot of the stuff that the community gets riled up over is, sometimes it's trivial, sometimes it's really big or something like that. But I think I think they need to work on, like, or we need to work on as a whole, is like the next day, like you don't see any word of what was said like yesterday. Give it 2 days, like it's just dropped completely. And I always wonder, like, where did that go? Like, this happened, this player wasn't mentioned in question, and now it's gone. It just revolves into like a meme that everyone uses, like the whole Superstario meme. Not meme. A whole Superstario situation. It's not a meme now to me, but that was big. They got banned from Squid Coliseum, and then it just kind of got dropped. Like the next day, it's just like, oh, watch me play H3 like Supa or something like that. Like it's definitely. I just think as a whole, we need to like work on kind of keeping ourselves together when it comes to situations like that, instead of like, let's say, like freaking out or subtweeting or stuff like that. So especially when like the server with where they discuss bans and stuff like that, that was just like honestly ridiculous to me. Not the server itself, but like the way people reacted to it. Because when you look at it and you think about it, you're like, it really isn't that big of a deal. Like,
Right.
and like you just have to look at the details and you have to analyze them instead of making kind of claims that, you know, like just saying like, oh, there's just GK and SRL in there. Look at these people trying to take over. Look at this army trying to take over the community. Like, that's not how it was at all. And it's just pretty surprising to see like people like one side of it get riled up over it, and one side of it getting really defensive over it, and just like the people in the middle just kind of chilling and observing. It's really hard to, especially since it's all done over Twitter. It's really hard to communicate when either side is not willing to listen to one another. So that's just a stalemate. So that's just one thing I think of when I think of the community for Splatoon 2.
Okay. So just kind of work through problems that groups may have, and if it's an actual problem that people bring up, don't just complain about it on Twitter, but take the initiative to do something about it.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's what it really boils down to be honest.
Okay. So what about some of your favorite memories in Splatoon so far?
My favorite memories. One of my favorite memories, I'd say, actually was this one VC I had with, it was me, it was Claire, and a guy named Ghost. And basically, I chugged 3. Okay, we're trying to do our longest Yeah Boys, right? Okay, let's just get that out of the way. We're doing longest Yeah Boys. We're timing ourselves, and I also timed myself eating a crap load of frappuccinos from Starbucks, and I got 3 of them. I bought them, and so like there's these espresso frappuccinos from Starbucks in like the glass kind of bottle thingies, and I chugged 3 of them, and I timed myself, and the whole VC. After that, I just kept burping. So every every few sentences, I just burped, and it was definitely one of the most fun times I've had. Obviously, there's a lot more memories, but when I think back, it's for like kind of like developed like a friendship with Claire and developed friendship with Ghost, and back then we were like the 3 amigos. But definitely really fun looking back at that and that server. I hold I think it's like 31 seconds of yeah boying. Yeah,
That's
so
that's a long time.
yeah, you really start losing uh awareness after like 25 seconds. It's pretty intense time. Yeah, probably
Okay.
like a really good memory back then.
And then I guess another memory that has happened probably more recently, about 3 months ago, your team got sponsored by In Control Gaming. What can you
Yeah,
tell us about that?
uh, that was actually really cool when that happened. I never thought I would get to the point of what's the point of a Splatoon team? Oh, to disband. That's kind of how I saw it sometimes. It was really whack. But
Hmm.
um, when that happened, when Silver like reached out, because Silver has been trying since Reverse Rebirth, like he's been
Right.
trying, and when that happened, I was like, wait, what? He's like, dude, he said in the chat, like, someone responded to me. Someone said, oh, we'd be interested in uh, using our work to sponsor you. And everyone was like, what the? Everyone, we didn't know like exactly what to do because we just played to play. We played to eventually like either see what happens next, and that's the next part. That we realized this is like another part of, I guess, our journey together and as a team. And we had Silver explain a lot of it. We had him explain like benefits, what we need to do, and stuff like that. And honestly, when I think about it, back then, when I was playing with the Goblins Underground, this is like something I'd be anxious. Like I was ambitious for it. Like I would want to be where I am today. Back then, in regards to Splatoon, like I was, I wanted that, dude. And from there, actually our team and I think we entered a tournament. This is where the meme comes from, like we beat you in tourney meme. Um, this is we entered a tournament. We lost to, I forget who we lose to, but I know Setu was on the team. And again, I have no bad blood against Setu. I think he's
That
a
was Inkstorm 5, I think it was, against Panda Pop.
yeah, okay, yeah. We lost to them, and we're like, oh, okay. But then the same day, we were like, let's just announce that we're sponsored too at like 12 o'clock, and they're gonna announce us. And it's just like, oh, okay. So legit, like an hour after we lost in the tournament, we Silver posted in the SEC servers like, oh, can you change the name to Ink Yami because we had to put the tag,
Hmm.
and that's where like the 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 next comment was set to actually said, but we beat you in tourney, and it was actually really funny when I saw that. And so that just kind of was like a little mini meme within our squad that we just kind of say just to like have like a couple laughs and stuff like that, because that was like the first reaction that we had when we did that. It's like, well, we beat you in tourney, and it was honestly hilarious to me. So
Yeah.
yeah, but other than that, it's actually not even that anticlimactic. It was pretty eventful that day, and I was actually very happy when that happened. Because sometimes I wanted like some recognitions for like stuff I did, but I wasn't really
Hmm.
a big thing about it. I'm just this low key player because no one really knew me back then. Like no one, I was on pretty low key teams. My IGN changed when I went to Reverse Rebirth, and it changed again when I went to Yami. I'm Bryan now. Um, but yeah, it was. I was like, I think this would kind of be a chance to like put my name out there. Just like if someone says like, oh, Bryan, it's like, oh, that Bryan, like yeah, that the one spelled with a Y, the right way. But yeah,
The right way.
but yeah, that's kind of like what I was looking forward to. And to be honest, like a lot of stuff's happened since then. I met a lot of cool people, and I wouldn't say exclusively because of the sponsor of it. I'm obviously gonna give credit to myself and credit to the people around me. But yeah, ever since then, like just a lot of stuff's been going like with the team, and so I really enjoy playing with everyone on my team. I love them all. They're like really cool. And sometimes I'm a bit too memey for like some people. Sometimes say some really stupid, really stupid crap, and
Eh,
not sometimes. Like honestly, if you go to the quotes channel of the Yami server, if you ever like find a peek of it, that's something. That could end my
there's
whole career.
there's a lot of stuff that I've documented in that channel since I'm the unofficial, official, not official quoter and clipper of Yami, apparently.
Yep. I'd say you're pretty official, not gonna lie.
Oh,
But
what can
yeah,
you do?
there's a lot of stuff there that's exclusively for the Yami server. That's never leaving the Yami server.
Right.
Yeah.
So, with you guys on the rise, we'll switch from the past to the future. What exactly are you excited about Splatoon 2 on the Switch?
Ooh, Splatoon 2. No invincibilities
First,
is one of them.
well, first off, did you get to play any of the test fire? Since I
Yeah, I
know you
played
have a Switch.
5 hours of the 6. I didn't feel like waking up for the last 4 a.m. one, so I'm just like, I'm just gonna sleep. But yeah, I played 5 hours of the 6 with them, and it was really different for me, honestly. Like the way it looked was different. The way it handled was a little more, I guess, for me, it was kind of less fluid than it was in Splatoon 2. More like you just had to focus on getting ink on you and watch out from ink below you. Because like if you, um, when I compared like, because in the run today, the whole C minus S plus run, I didn't wear any ink res, and I didn't really feel any difference, than actually wearing ink res.
Right.
It's not that huge of a difference. It's still a difference, and I can make a difference in like small situations, but like it's not that big. But when you look at Splatoon 2, like holy crap, you get stuck in ink, everything like turns really like your vision is like it looks like you're almost dead basically. If you look at it compared to Splatoon. But Splatoon 2, like it seems like it punishes you more for stepping in opponent's ink than it is in Splatoon. And that kind of freaked me out a bit. I was like, whoa. My first impression, like, I better not go in anyone's ink or else I'm gonna get stuck. And yeah. And one thing that was really cool about it was a lot of it was a lot of aim. Lots of aim. Not like and like not like panic cracking or anything like that. Like there wasn't anything. And it was just kind of like a more I guess lack of a better term, like civilized deathmatch. Like there isn't like, oh, I respond faster than you, so I'm gonna like take the advantage after I trade with you, or I'm gonna farm this special and then just kind of barge on in to your home without asking you and just kill you all. Stuff like that. It was just like full on like just casual turf war. Not really casual though, because you had to like get used to the controls and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It was really cool. I was like, I'm really excited to be in a meta where like there's no invincibilities, but because it's a lot different. Like I don't mind it that much. The meta, like I accept it. Like I'm just gonna I'm gonna use invincibilities and QR to keep up with the meta, just because me as a competitive player, like I have to be the meta to like keep up, or else like I'm gonna be left behind, and I can't just like blame that stuff for like me be behind and stuff like that, because I don't know. When a meta is a meta, you either anti-meta
Right.
or you with the meta. And anti-meta people, I do respect them. Like he doesn't use QR, and he uses a really like a weapon that nobody really uses other than Albino and I think Legend that I've seen frequently. And he uses the bamboo, and that's just like really cool to me. I'm like me I'm just like this everyday T-Tech that just like goes around and is like super annoying for everyone to deal with. Like I just like pop out, just kill me or something like that. But like Tetsu is really interesting, and just because of like the meta, and seeing Splatoon 2 steer away from that and steer more towards, you got to hit your shots, you got to be more aware of everything, and like you got to get used to this whole new map system. You can't look down at your pro controller or anything like that. Like you gotta be like in the zone. You gotta be in the game. And a lot of games I play in Splatoon, like I just wander off. Like I'm like a lot of the first half of that run, I was just kind of like doing whatever, listening to music. And
Right.
but for me trying to learn these controls and be like, whoa, this is such a new game. like I was in the zone. Like I didn't do that well either. I was actually doing pretty mediocre. I think my best match was like 19 kills, but that was the only time I got close to 19 kills. Yeah, and it's like I really want to grind this game to the point where I can be as good as I am in Splatoon. Just because of how different. Also, the jump button, like, oh, that freaked me out so bad. I didn't know how to like jump well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the control system and the lack of a mini map is definitely something that a lot of players who played the first game are going to have to adjust to. Because
Yeah.
even I caught myself a couple times looking down at the control pad, like, okay, where am I on the map? Oh, I'm not using a gamepad, so
Yeah,
that doesn't
exactly.
work.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was really weird.
yeah. So, what are some things you'd like to see in the future regarding Splatoon, the community, etc.? Like new people coming in, more sponsors, maybe support from Nintendo or other third parties?
I think something I'd see more. I want to see more like teams. Like I want to see more
Hmm.
teams going in tournaments. I want to see like more teams like putting in this effort to like merge themselves into the community, like this competitive community. Because like the turnout for tournaments, like as of now, are pretty small, mostly because of like the lack of people in the community or the lack of people available during certain times, stuff like that. But Splatoon 2, I know it's gonna be a big thing. Like I know it's like already like pretty hyped up as like the biggest thing. So I think that with the future of Splatoon, like with Splatoon 2, I want to see like just more new people. I wanted to see more hype things happening. I guess hype as in like, yo, this really cool team that was here for a long time got sponsored, and
Hmm.
and by like a cool org, something like that. Like I want to see stuff like that happening, and just to like spice things up a little because it's been pretty stagnant in Splatoon. But yeah, definitely with Splatoon 2, there's a lot of cool things that could happen, and it'd be great if they did. If it doesn't, well, I'm still gonna be like chilling with my team and chilling with the people that I'm with. But definitely, new teams is the biggest one. I'd love to see them.
Okay. And I think with Splatoon on the Switch, a much more supported console by basically the Wii U ever was,
Yeah, basically.
and the fact that Splatoon kind of has a bit of a following, a bit of a backing, and a bit of a history, that will probably help it quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I want to see some more like some good art about Splatoon 2. I always look forward to art. Art is really cool in this community.
Yeah, we have some really talented artists.
Yeah,
We're
definitely.
lucky.
Hmm.
Okay, time to move on to the viewer questions.
Awesome. These are
Hermes
like,
asks, what prompted you to start using the Slosher Deco so much?
oh, actually, that story actually is pretty pretty stupid in itself. So I was like, yo, we should probably get more invincibilities and step more QR if you want to like stay longer in tournaments and like kind of build this whole like do better on like tower control because I seriously suck so bad on tower control. Like never forget 9 and 20 or like 8 and 21. Like never forget.
The two KDs from the first two locked and loadeds where you died 20 plus times and still top fragged.
In tower control, Piranha Pit TC too. Oh, but yeah, and so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to see if I can pick up a weapon that with invincibility. But I didn't think Slosher Deco. I was still playing Tenatech. I was like, I still was deciding. Then I don't know where we faced this Tri Squad, and there's just a Slosher Deco. I'm just like, yo, that weapon looks cool, and so there, I picked it up. That's it. And then I just from there, I just mostly the drive to run an invincibility weapon was like the biggest thing for me. I was like, yeah, I just need invincibility along with my QR to be more like annoying and be alive more, stuff like that. So that's why I picked up Slosher. Right now, actually, I'm sticking with T-Tech for the most part, while Tyler is moving on to Slosher Deco or with Octobrush. Mostly looking at Octobrush though, because he's really good at that. But yeah,
Okay.
pretty enigmatic to be honest.
So you're very with the meta of QR and Kraken.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
It's a contrary to popular belief. Like I don't main any weapons with like an invincibility, like not on purpose. Like I just realized like I don't know how to use weapons with like I suck with Kraken. Like I'm not the best with Kraken at all. And Bubble, I'm pretty okay with. I just mostly focus on like my teammates with Bubble. But yeah, I'm not like skilled with like QR. Like I love using QR, but invincibility is not my forte at all. Not good with them.
Eh, they're not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
All right. Moritz asks, since you brought up chickens earlier,
Oh,
what is your favorite bird?
my favorite
And
bird. Oh,
what are your plans for Splatoon 2 since it's getting closer and closer?
my favorite bird. Okay. Okay. The easy answer is chicken,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. But when I was younger, actually, I wanted to be an ornithologist, which is a scientist that studies specifically birds and like an aviary. And then I moved on to zoology. Now it's biochem. But yeah, basically, like my own aspirations when I was younger, I was like in love with birds. I love them. I love how they could fly and stuff like that. It was really cool to me. And I like the chicken a lot because it's one of the only birds that can't fly. It can only glide. Like some chickens that we have. I'm pretty sure there's some chickens that can fly. Maybe. I don't know. But the chickens that I've observed, they can only glide and stuff like that. But one bird that I really like a lot is the peregrine falcon. And only because it can dive pretty fast, like 170 miles per hour when it dives. So I don't know, that was really cool. But yeah, definitely chicken and the peregrine falcon are one of my favorites. Peregrine falcon mostly because it looks super cool, and being a falconer is pretty damn cool too. And for my future plans for Splatoon 2, uh, just gonna be streaming it more. I'm gonna be playing with my team more often. I'm going to just kind of focus on getting better at that game. And I'm probably gonna drop Splatoon. Like I won't play Splatoon, maybe as a joke or as a meme with other people. But Splatoon 2 is definitely going to be my huge focus for the remainder of its days. So yeah, definitely just going to work on teamwork and working on adjusting to that meta when it comes out.
Yeah. I'd say most people won't play Splatoon once Splatoon 2 comes out.
Yeah, and I know Silver is just like he's waiting for Splatoon to drop out, like the second Splatoon. He's just waiting for it. Just along
Okay.
with a lot of other people.
Dragonite asks, if you could create a new mode for Splatoon 2, what would it be? And please be specific.
Huh. A new mode. Think of that right off the bat. It won't be the best mode, but let's see. With my other experience with games, I think I don't know if you know. I don't know what kind of mode this is too, but it's like a team deathmatch. But like when you die, it's permanent. Like you just permanently die. You just have to wait till the next round till you respawn. I don't know.
Okay.
This is like coming up like right off the spot. Like I played like games like that where like you have one life and basically have to. It's like this grudge match. You have to eventually eliminate the other person's team completely. But yeah, definitely like a mode with that when like it only would work with like 8 players versus 8 players because 4v4 seems pretty lame. But definitely like a mode where like if you die, you have to wait till the next round, and like that could like create some pretty clutch moments to be honest. Like triples would mean a lot more, and QR
Right.
wouldn't mean anything. Uh, and if there's other invincibilities, then well, you just kind of have to like go at it and just. Oh, this is in Splatoon 2, kind of like reference. But yeah, like definitely like a death match where you only have one life and you just kind of shoot each other up till last person standing. That's it, basically.
I mean, seems pretty simple.
Yeah.
And since we don't know what modes other than Turf War will be around in Splatoon 2, there's
Yeah.
always a chance. All right. Um, a question that I've actually gotten a couple times.
Oh.
Where can you get the best chicken nuggets?
Oh
First
my.
asked by, and I apologize if I butcher this name, Ashen Poke.
Ashen poke. Where can I find the best nuggets? Well,
Because we
actually,
because
I
we all
actually
know that you love chicken nuggets, so
I really do. I do. I would argue more than Ron does, to be honest. But best, I actually created like a tier list. I'm just gonna read like the top one. The best place to get nuggets is definitely McDonald's, mostly because they're one of the only nuggets you can get that are really crispy and that look actually appealing. And they come with really good barbecue sauce. Because McDonald's barbecue sauce is, I'd say it's one of the best. But yeah, McDonald's would be the best nugget place, mostly because they're cheap too. And then probably I'd say the worst place to get chicken nuggets would be like, let's see, like Burger King. Not the best nuggets.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, out of the time of the whole time I've been like a chicken connoisseur, that's the data I've encountered. You're welcome.
You heard it here first, everyone. Bryan endorses McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Yeah, McDonald's sponsor me, dude. What? Yeah.
Okay. That basically wraps up any viewer questions that weren't already asked. Thank you very much for doing this. I guess my last question would be, if you had to do it all over again, or if you could go back in time 2 years, do you really think do you think you'd still be here playing Splatoon and being on a sponsored team and all that?
Like if I just, how do you mean?
Well, if we were to go back in time 2 years, back to the day you bought Splatoon, would you have thought back then that you'd be where you are now?
Definitely not. I wouldn't say so, like, because at the living conditions I were at the time weren't the best, and I didn't really expect a lot about myself then. So, kind of seeing myself like grow as a person and grow as like making bad decisions and making good ones, stuff like that. Like those decisions and like learning from that stuff really forms how you are and forms kind of what kind of person you're going to be. Either you're going to be like an arrogant kind of person, or you're going to be very feeble or meek kind of person who doesn't really like saying their opinion. And like it's just between that spectrum. Like you're going to get a really loud person or like a really quiet person. And I think I've I've started with like the quiet, and then I'm slowly making my way to a more, I guess, a more loud player, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But yeah, making myself out there is something I wouldn't like. Streaming is something I didn't think I would ever do when I was younger. Like I never thought I would even be able to afford to stream. But like I eventually was able to, like, got some money and I bought a crappy desktop computer, put it on some like Amazon boxes in a shoebox, bought a crappy webcam. I played Splatoon on my floor right here. Like, but yeah, I can still do stuff that I enjoy, and I enjoy streaming because it's like really, really relaxing. And like honestly, there's SNS too that's happening in like a week. Like I never thought I'd get so close to people that I would want to meet them, you know? And I definitely am looking forward to SNS. I'm looking forward to meeting Red, who I told you I've known for a long time. And if I had any other way, I probably would want to meet up with Claire too, who I've known a while back. But for now, I'm happy with what I have with my team and with stuff that's going on. And I would not expect it to be this way, like when I was younger. Mostly because my image of myself when I was younger is nowhere near what it would be right now. Like I think I'm pretty good at Splatoon, but like back then I was like, I'm okay. I think I can just manage stuff like that. Confidence that's the word I'm looking for. Confidence is the biggest thing that I gained from this, and I wasn't confident as I was before now. I wouldn't be confident enough to attempt the run I just did like 2 years back. Even like I did it just for fun, but before then, if I lost it, that would destroy my like kind of myself. Like I'm not good enough. But I lost it 2 days ago, yesterday, but then that just made me want to play it again because I was confident in myself. and because confident because of what my team has told me, confident because the people I've interacted. Back then, if I went 2 years ago, I would not see myself this confident in myself. But yeah, that's basically it. Uh, the gaining of confidence was something I did not expect to come out of this, or wouldn't expect.
Yeah. And even in the you and I have known each other, I'd say that you've definitely developed as a player and as a person. And I'm really excited to see where that goes moving forward.
Yeah, me too. Because you're a really
Okay.
hip and happening dude.
Well, you're pretty chill, and for anyone who's watching who's never dropped by Bryan's stream, feel free. Twitch.tv/ApocaJesus837. I'm
Oh
sure he'll be
boy.
streaming again sometime soon, so
Yep.
there you go. All
Yeah.
right.
Thanks. That wraps about it. And
Yeah,
thanks for definitely having me. I enjoyed this a lot. I enjoyed
of
talking.
course.
I like talking, so I
Yes.
enjoy I enjoy talking about like stuff that happens.
Yeah,
And
okay. Because you kind of gave us your entire Splatoon history bio there in the
I
middle of
did
it.
actually.
But,
Hmm.
now people know you better, and I think that's what this entire interview series was meant to do. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed getting to know Bryan a little bit better, and we will see you all next time.
All right. See ya.